Whatever you want to know.
Right. Hello guys. I have a very special interview. 오늘은 되게 특별한 인터뷰가 있는데요. 예전에 한번 했던 예전 그 버니 샌더스 지지자 미국인과 인터뷰를 한번 해보겠습니다. Hi, how are you?
I'm doing well, Jenny. How are you?
I'm doing very well, except the bad air yesterday. It was like crazy here.
In
Yeah.
Korea, yeah, because you're so close to China.
Yes.
That's, yeah.
Yeah.
When they have all the manufacturing, yeah.
Right.
So,
So yesterday, I checked the air quality in the whole world, and the Korea was the worst yesterday.
really?
Yes.
Wow.
Number one. I
That's
was,
terrible.
I
I'm
know.
so sorry.
Yeah, we have to work on that problem. But so how is America these days?
America's very interesting. I mean, we have a very interesting political theater going on. We got the Republicans and Democrats who pretend to be fighting, but behind closed doors, they're really all in the same. They're really all basically more or less the same. They're more or less on the same team. They're trying to protect their wealthy and powerful interests. I mean, they all go to the same country clubs, the same cocktail parties, the same weddings, the same. They are all part of the club that the rest of the country is not part of. So, and I mean, this is more about following the money. That's where the people who run this country are wealthy and powerful people, and they want to stay wealthy and powerful people, and they want the rest of us, and because of that, they have to have the rest of us scrambling to get by, so that way we don't take all their power. So,
Wow.
it's a very interesting situation. I mean, really, this has always been the case to some degree. I mean, in some ways, we've almost hit a boiling point in a way because we have a lot of people who have been forced to lose their jobs because of COVID, and not only do they lose their jobs, but they lose their health insurance as well. So it's kind of a double whammy because in this country, health insurance, most people get health insurance through their employer. So most companies that people work for have benefits such as health insurance, paid time off, etc. So losing losing a job also often means losing health insurance. So that's a really big problem. And not only that, not only are they doing a terrible job relieving people. I mean, we got for people who lost their job in this country, a $1,200 stimulus, a $600 stimulus, and a $1,400 stimulus is not going to pay the bills. And that's all we got here. I mean, some people have a little bit more unemployment money. Even that's not really going to. Yeah. I mean, people are struggling. That's not going to comfortably pay the bills. I mean, other countries have been giving their people $2,000 a month or guaranteeing 80% of their income. So, it's really an interest. It is a tough situation that we are in right now. Really, this is the case. This has been the case. Every time that there is a crisis in this country, this has been the case. I'm trying to think of after 9/11, the wealthy and the most powerful people in this country got more oil money because they invaded Iraq, and the defense contractors made a lot of money because we basically, since 9/11, really up until now, we've set the Middle East on fire. After the financial crisis of 2008 here, the banks and everything, the banks and the wealthy, most powerful people got wealthier. They got the bailouts. Ordinary people didn't get the bailouts, but the wealthiest people and most powerful people got bailouts. They got all the tax breaks and everything, and that's the way the corporation really functions. I mean, the corporation, they don't care if they want to maximize profits. They don't want to pay any money they don't have to, and they want to make as much money as they can. So they will externalize costs like onto, say, the taxpayers, and they will destroy the environment. They will illegally dispose waste and destroy the environment to save a few bucks from disposing it legally, and then they have more money in their pockets. So I mean, corporations will do. Corporations are really essentially psychopaths. Really, they operate just like a human psychopath. And there's a documentary called The Corporation that kind of spells that out. How corporations are really like psychopaths. So
Yeah, I think, that all goes down to the money in politics. I mean, like,
yeah,
yeah, how these all representatives and senators and president and politicians, their motivation is not help, not, so their motive is not helping people. Their motive is like how to serve their donors, right? And how to, how to keep the money coming from them for their election. Because I think the system itself has a very big defect, because if you want to be a politician, but exceptionally, well, Ocasio-Cortez or Bernie Sanders showed how to successfully collect the money, but most of like new politicians wannabe will have hard time collecting money, right? So we need to create a new system so that if somebody want to be a politician, they don't depend on those kind of bribe from those companies. Like, we need to create some new system, for the fairer game. What do you think?
no question about it. We do, and of course, my shout out goes to the People's Party, which is a startup party in this country that's out of the two-party system, because that's the crux of the problem. The two parties that we have in this system are both controlled by big money, from pharmaceutical companies, big pharma, Wall Street, the military-industrial complex, you name it. And that's why voting for either of the two parties really is not going to solve the problem.
Right.
We really need pressure outside of the two-party system. We need a competitive third party, and it's very, very difficult. I mean, there was a guy named Ross Perot who got 20% of the vote as a third party in 1992, but I mean, and afterwards, both parties conspired the rules where it's much, much harder to be a third party since then. So, I mean, really, it's I mean, they're shut out from the debate stage. They're not given as much access to mainstream media. I mean, most of the people, I voted for Howie Hawkins of the Green Party, which is the only party in this country that has even resembled somewhat success. And I mean, Howie Hawkins didn't even get like 1% of the vote.
Oh my God.
I mean, nobody really knows who he is. So, because I mean, he wasn't allowed on the debate stage. they made it really hard for third parties to get on the ballot. People are, well, ranked choice voting is really something that needs to happen, and that's really been something that New York City has done, Maine, whereas if you could rank your choices, like you could do, say, Howie Hawkins first, and put Joe Biden as your second choice. So if Howie's out, because people really think, like, if you vote third party, you're throwing away your vote. But it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's like, well, yeah, third parties aren't going to be competitive if people don't vote for them. But if you vote for third party, if enough people vote for the third party, then they will be competitive.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's really a terrible thing because, I mean, and the reason that the media is part of the club. They have money and power. So they're paid by the corporations, the same corporations that pay the politicians, and they all go to the same cocktail parties. They all belong to the same country clubs. They're part of the same social groups. And like American comedian George Carlin famously said, "It's a big club, and we ain't in it." So, and that's exactly what you got. We got a big club, and the regular people just aren't in it.
So do you think more and more people, American people, are recognizing this clearly, like you do?
Yes. Good question. They're very frustrated. The American population is very frustrated. They've been frustrated for a long time.
Right.
But I mean, Bernie definitely set a great example that you can, yes, Bernie Sanders, you can be run a competitive campaign without taking corporate money.
Mm-hmm.
You can very well do that. That is a big thing that he showed. But unfortunately, they were never going to let him win. So you basically got his whole movement, and now his movement has nowhere to go because the leader has fallen, and they're being sucked right back into the same Democratic Party that has caused the problems in the first place. So, yeah. I mean, even Bernie himself has told people to go vote for Joe Biden. So, I mean, really, it's really a very, very tough situation, and I mean, it's almost like he was systematically placed there because in Occupy Wall Street back in 2011, 2012, when there was the Occupy Wall Street movement in this country, a third party was kind of brewing, and Bernie Sanders kind of became the face of that. And I mean, to give a lot of credit where credit is due, Bernie Sanders, I mean, he is talking the language and everything. He really is. But it's like Jimmy Dore says, my friend Jimmy Dore. You can't. There's no point in really having progressives in the Democratic Party if those progressives listen to the corporate people anyway. So it really is a sad state of affairs. It really is a tough situation.
Right.
Yeah.
I often watch Jimmy Dore show and get frustrated, like even the most progressive, so-called most progressive politicians within the Democratic Party, they can't really do anything, extraordinary. So I think the best answer is that majority of American people fight for electoral system change, money out of politics movement, and as you said, many third parties, I think that's the only way. Like, we can't expect, like, within this system, two-party dominating system, we can't expect anything to progress, I think.
Yeah.
That's the reality.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. 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 No, I mean, and there's some democratic socialist type countries and social democracies, in say Europe that have like, 7 or 8 parties, and then they form coalitions and I mean, the two-party system, I mean, really, it's really become almost like one-party system, basically, the corporate party, basically.
Yeah.
There's mild differences between the Republicans and Democrats on social issues. Sometimes, even those are amenable to compromise based on changing opinion and the where the money is. But I mean, basically, we're at a situation where it's basically us against the wealthy and powerful people, the regular people versus the wealthy and powerful people, and they do. It's very difficult to fight back when people have to put all their energy into work and just trying to get by.
Mm-hmm.
So it really is a difficult situation. So, but it's not. I mean, there are ways that reform can happen. I mean, there really is. I mean, it's not necessarily a pipe dream. I mean, our generation, Jenny, like 20s and 30s people, are like the most progressive people under 45.
Right.
So I mean, we kind of see what's going on a little bit. I mean, so eventually things could change. It's just a matter of getting from here to there.
Right,
So,
right. Yeah, I'm very hopeful too. And especially this corona situation is making everything worse. So maybe it could be opportunity, because if so many people realize what is really going on in America, I think sometimes it can be a good thing because we can, we can come together and stand by together, So, I always, even though I'm currently in Korea, Korean situation is very similar to American situation. We have same, two-party dominating system, So many problems are not addressed at all because these two parties just like they're busy fighting with each other, but they're very collaborating to keep their powers. So third party is very weak here as well, and no issues about environment, education, inequality are not addressed in any form of election or anything. No problems are addressed and not solved. So that's why we have this bad air for many, many years, because people are dying and people are begging to fix this problem, but the politicians have I don't know, they have no interest, but I don't understand. They don't do a good job at all.
Sure.
So it's very frustrating.
And it's mind-boggling that, I mean, you would think that these progressive policies would also make the politicians very, very popular. Like Bernie. I mean, Bernie is so popular. He doesn't even have to campaign. He just keeps getting reelected with like 70+% of the votes. I mean, Franklin Roosevelt. He kept getting elected. He died in office. I mean, he was elected to 4 terms, and that's why they put term limits in for president.
Right.
Really, it's kind of mind-boggling that these politicians really don't help people out anymore. And thanks for educating me a little bit on Korea too, because unfortunately, probably a little bit too much like a lot of Americans. We don't know enough about places like Korea, so that's good.
Korea is almost like a mirror to American society. Very, very much. Yeah. So, most of other developed country, like they have at least 6 to 8 parties in the Congress, working together.
Yeah.
But Korea and America, like almost like two parties dominating everything. So it's very interesting to see, America and Korea at the same time because they're like so similar to each other, except the healthcare system. Because Korea has a single payer universal healthcare system, public healthcare. So which is much better than America, but all other things, the gap between rich and poor is getting really high, almost like America or Korea is either top first and top second, like number one and number two. so we are like like a most unequal country in the whole world. And another similar thing is most people are not interested in politics. The politicians, they controlled brainwashing people. They don't want people to be interested in politics. So in the school, they don't teach anything about it. Like even like teachers, public workers, teenagers cannot join the political party. That's illegal for them to join any political party. And
Wow.
when you run for mayor or run for election, you have to pay lump sum money. Like for example, we have a mayor election soon, but you have to pay almost $50,000 just to run for mayor. Your money, $50,000. Yeah. Oh, that is the reason I can't run for mayor, So
Yeah.
we have to get rid of all this system. I mean, this is crazy. At least America don't have this kind of system. You don't need to pay $50,000 just to run for mayor.
That's ridiculous.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, right?
Yeah, it is really ridiculous. I mean, it doesn't surprise me in a way. It kind of makes sense because, really, we have a situation where, for a long time, for much of the 20th century, in the world, there were two superpowers: the United States of America and Russia. The USSR, Russia, whatever, Soviet Union, whatever you want to call it. But then the Soviet Union fell, and really, this country is supposedly the superpower. And even though half of our country is poor, it's the superpower, and it seems like every other country wants to be like this country. Really, the best, the most equitable countries are the social democratic countries, the Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Scandinavia, and those types of countries.
Exactly. We had former presidents who really want to make Korea like a Sweden, or Finland, those countries. We envy those countries, but with this two-party system, it's just impossible, So all those countries had a political earthquake, which was changing electoral system. So Social Democratic Party in Sweden, they made it happen. So they changed the electoral system, and they could be a viable first, number one party. And then in Switzerland as well, like they actually has a people vote for electoral system change. So that time there was no internet, so they put a lot of posters about explaining electoral system, between winner take all system and proportional representation system. So the poster really says the message very, very easily. So they put the poster everywhere in Switzerland, and successfully they could change the electoral system, and then their politics advanced so quickly. So many countries. So they went through all those changes. So I think I'm hopeful because America and Korea, if they change electoral system to proportional representation system, we will have instant improvement, But the problem is
Yeah.
people are not interested in politics. So this is the biggest hardship. Like if we want to solve some problem, we have to brainstorm ideas, we have to discuss, right? We have to be open-minded. But most of like people in Korea, like they think politics is something very far away from their lives. Like politics it has to be run by some special elite. That's what they think. Like they don't think like we are responsible to change, or we have to we have to do something. So most of people are like a sheep. You know what I mean? I don't want to say bad things about Korean people, but more I observe them objectively, I can feel like they sometimes act like a sheep. You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah, and I mean, I don't know as much about Korea, but there's many like it's not exactly an accident that people seem apathetic about. At least in this country, it's not an accident that people seem apathetic about the political system, about politics. I mean, well, it's largely because politicians have failed people for so long.
Right.
A lot of people have given up.
Right.
But on the other hand, also, in terms of starting a third party and creating a real movement, there's a lot of institutional roadblocks. That's the other thing. Like I was talking about before, they changed the rules where you have to get so many votes to so many people sign a petition. They try to make it almost impossible. But the other thing too is that like the economic system is such that people are struggling just to get by. So between sometimes working 2 or 3, 4 jobs just to put food on the table, get health insurance, and take care of their families. The mom's working, dad's working, the kids are working, and they're still barely able to make ends meet. So you have that kind of a situation in this country, and people don't necessarily have time to sit around and think about politics. They're just trying to work just to make ends meet. And when they finally do get a break, they're so tired, all they want to do is turn on the TV and eat their Edie's ice cream and their Hershey's chocolate syrup and their, they want to watch the sports game or whatever it is they do. And of course, I mean, there's a hell of a lot of advertising for these products, the TVs, there's a tremendous amount of effort that goes into making people think that they just want to be lazy, sit on their lazy boy recliner, eat their Edie's ice cream with their Hershey's chocolate syrup, this is a tremendous amount of effort that goes into this.
Right.
Because
I think it's exactly same situation in Korea. Many people would say the same thing exactly what you said to me. Okay, so but at the same time, the system or the politicians or whoever it is, they try to brainwash people like that too. Like it almost look like they don't want people to be interested in politics, because we have a public media, which is KBS, and I think there is another one. But even public media, they don't show any like social discussion or social issues. Almost 90%, over 90% are like just the events or entertainment or all like other like shows. So they can actually show some educational or discussion, or they can raise awareness to people, but they try not to, so basically people are getting more busy just making a living, and at the same time the leaders and politicians, they're they're just trying to brainwash people, and they take away the critical thinking from people. So this goes
Yeah.
like, oh my God, yeah, I don't know, like this is a too big problem. I don't know what to do, you know?
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, and that's why creating a new party is very, very, very challenging. I mean, it can be done, and part of it could start at a local level. I mean, of course, I got a shout out to my friend Pramila Malik and the people from the Protect Orange County who have been fighting this CPV for so long, which is the $1 billion power plant placed right in the center of Orange County in the state of New York. Yeah, our politicians have generally failed us, Republican and Democrat. So, and that's at a local level too, state and local level. So this has culminated. This isn't just the national level. The state and local levels really mirror the national level. I mean, the whole problem is money in politics.
Right.
So this is kind of what we are up against, and those people are fighting the good fight, Protect Orange County, and we have to. If enough people see that both parties have kind of failed us, I mean, maybe then we could kind of shift. I mean, it would be good to have a competitive third party. I mean, let's see what happens with the People's Party. I'm interested to see. I mean, I like some of the leaders of the People's Party, Nick Grana, Chris Hedges, Cornel West, all people that would be good for you and your audience to look up. They're speaking truth. They're speaking truth to power.
Yeah.
So,
if you have a chance, I really hope they not only they're just exposing the bad things about both party, they need to have a good solution. So they need to show what their plan is, So I hope they come up with a good solution, good policies. I really hope Bernie Sanders can be part of that. That would be like amazing. So I hope
so too. I
Yeah.
mean, he was the ideal leader
Right.
to start a third party, and he's not getting any younger. But I mean, unfortunately, Bernie has been working in politics so long. He has been developed relationships with the Democrats, and he's become close with them. And unfortunately, he's not trying to overthrow them. He's part of the club. I mean, as much as I like him in a way, and do have a little bit of soft spot in my heart, and I do think that he's done some very good things to move the conversation, further left.
Yeah.
So.
But I think he will be in a very very tough situation, because I think he's trying to still push something within the party, because he knows how tough it is to work outside of the party, because people don't pay attention. If he was not a candidate within a Democratic Party, he wouldn't have that much attention, before. So I think he's trying to be more realistic. And so I don't want to blame him, but I really hope he kind of break out of his box and just do something extraordinary before he's gone. He can. He has nothing to lose, I think, at this moment, right? But
And I mean, if he jumps on board with the People's Party, if they become a competitive party and he jumps on board, that's going to be his defining moment.
Right.
Really. That really will be. Because it's something that he's called for in the past. So, I get what he's trying to do, but unfortunately, the problem is, you can't reform the Democratic Party. Unfortunately, we see that the Democratic Party reforms progressives.
Right.
Progressives who go into the Democratic Party, they're very limited because it's the party is controlled by big money and big power and all that.
Right,
So,
right. That's true. That's true. So we can see that clearly now because under the Joe Biden administration, that's like obvious, right? It's almost like obvious.
It's much more obvious. Yeah, I mean, it's much more obvious. I mean, the guy didn't even offer as much assistance as Trump was giving,
Right.
In terms of relief. And not only that, but he also has us, more involved in Syria and the Middle East. I mean, really, he's a war hawk. He's always been a war hawk. There hasn't been a war he didn't like. Right? I mean, this is, this is really wild.
Right.
This is really like, a crazy situation. So, it's really, it's something that, it can be overcome, and I do think that the People's Party can do some good work, and we'll have to see where it goes.
Right.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a very difficult situation. So.
But then it was really nice to talk to you, and I'm glad that there is someone like you in America, because I hope many people are really engaged and interested in politics like you. Then if we have more young people in America thinking about that and getting angry and trying to brainstorm to have a solution, we can be very hopeful, So I hope many people discuss about the issues and trying to come up with a solution, So you can maybe I don't know, you can start some discussion meetup sites or something. If I were you, I would try like Meetup, meetup.com, and you can start some discussion page, or you can, if you have an iPhone, you can even start like Clubhouse application. It's like voice talking discussion, channel. So application. So anybody can start. So you can maybe start discussing with other people, And then I think so more discussion, more brainstorming could be a good start, and they can join People's Party, or they can even like make another party, like a Social Democratic Party, something like that, because if they create Social Democratic Party, then they can join the international alliance, so other countries' Social Democratic Party can help each other. You know what I mean? So you can use that help as well. So I hope somebody, not only just People's Party, I hope many political parties will be, made in America soon. That's what I want to see, So, but yeah.
Ideally, I mean, I think what do you call it? It would be good just to. It would be good just to, what do you call it? It would be good just to have one progressive party. I mean, what we really need is, a Medicare for all, like a universal healthcare system, like a national healthcare system. We need a Green New Deal. We need a federal jobs guarantee, and we need
free college.
Yes. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
So, and of course, I mean, reforming increasing the minimum wage, and also
right.
Forgiving student debt, of course. But I mean, really, that's a good start to what a third party, a progressive party, can represent.
Right.
And I think that's what the People's Party is doing. So, unfortunately, on the left end of the spectrum, we've been too divided. Greens, independents, etc. We need to coalesce our power around one thing. So, yeah. So,
Yeah, maybe that.
yeah.
Yeah, we might need that too. But anyway, wow, it was nice to talk to you, and I hope I can have a good news next time. You know, some types of progress in America. You know, I
Yeah,
want to
we'll
be
see,
positive.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Like I said, I mean, I'm not all doom and gloom. I think there is, yeah, you know, some kind of change can happen. It really can. But it's just a matter of getting from here to there. And like I said, I give props to Protect Orange County. I give props to you know, the Jimmy Dore Show and those people. I give props to the People's Party. You know, they're the ones who are really out there trying to make it happen. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good news. Good thing, you know. Good
Yeah.
things going on.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
So,
wow.
thanks so much.
Yeah, thank you so much
Yeah.
for the interview, and I hope to talk to you soon, okay? I hope you take care.
All right, thanks so much.
Thank you.
You
Bye.
too. Bye for now.